The stars above Earth were quiet. No warships, no noise. Just silence. It was the kind of silence that made the Council nervous. "Send another warning," said High Commander Virex of the Galactic Council. His voice echoed in the Golden Chamber. "Earth must respond. They cannot ignore us." "They've ignored 3 warnings already," replied Counselor Ixon. "If they do not reply again, we must act." The Council ruled over 500 planets. Their word was law, but Earth had been silent for almost a year now. No messages. No trade, no signs of respect. Just silence. That was dangerous. So they sent the Velener, a small but powerful ship, to orbit Earth. The message was clear. "Earth, you are ordered to respond. The Council demands your presence. Failure to obey will be seen as rebellion. You have 1 solar day." But there was no reply. Commander Virex frowned. "Give them 1 more hour. Then we erase their planet." The crew on the Velener waited. 1 hour passed, then 2. Still no answer. Some of the alien officers grew nervous. Others laughed. "They are just humans," said one. "Weak and emotional." But then something happened. A sudden spark appeared outside the ship. It was not from Earth, it was behind them in space. "Sir, we have a problem," shouted a young alien pilot. A black object appeared out of nowhere. It was massive, bigger than any known ship. But it didn't make a sound. It didn't send a message. It just moved. And then boom, the Velener was gone. No fire, no crash, no explosion, just gone. Like it had never been there. In the Council's main chamber, alarms screamed. "The Velener has vanished." "They fired on us?" "No, there was no signal. No weapon detected. They just vanished." Commander Virex stood up slowly. "Begin full war preparation. Earth has declared war in silence." But no one was truly ready for what was coming. 2 days later, a second ship was sent. This time with a full scout team, elite soldiers, invisible drones, stealth systems. Their mission: enter Earth's orbit, land quietly, and find out what was happening. They never made it to the surface. A transmission came back, just 6 seconds of sound. "They're watching us. They knew we were coming. Get out." Then silence again. Panic spread across Council space. People asked questions the Council couldn't answer. Why is Earth so quiet? What are they hiding? How did they erase a ship without firing? The Council tried to calm the galaxy. "They are weak," said Counselor Ixon. "This is just a trick. We must show strength." But not all believed him. In secret, whispers spread between planets. Some remembered Earth's past. A time when humans fought bloody wars. When they built weapons that burned their own skies. When they made machines that thought like gods. Maybe they hadn't gone soft. Maybe they were waiting on a distant moon. Captain Drail of the Jurek race prepared his team. "You are going to Earth. You will find the truth," he told them. "But what if we don't come back?" asked his second. Drail stared at the stars. "Then we'll know Earth has teeth." The team left that night. 20 trained aliens in armor, smart, fast, and armed. They entered Earth's atmosphere in a silent ship. But just before landing, all their cameras went black. Only one camera, a helmet cam, turned on for 3 seconds. It showed a human, not a soldier, not a leader. Just a man in a dark suit, standing calmly in the woods. He looked at the camera, smiled, and said, "Go back." Then the screen went dark. The whole Council chamber saw the clip. That was no weapon, someone said. Commander Virex stood up slowly. His voice was quiet now. "They know everything we're doing. They see us before we move. They let us get close, so they could send the message." Counselor Ixon shouted, "Then attack. Destroy Earth now, before they strike first." But no. One moved. Fear hung in the air, for the first time in centuries. The Council was unsure. Not because of what Earth said, But because Earth said nothing at all, and that silence was louder than war. Far away, on Earth's surface, deep under a mountain, a human stood before a glowing screen. "They've taken the bait," he said. Beside him, a voice from the shadows replied, "Good. Let them come. Let them see what Earth really is." The human smiled. Let them fear the silence. The council was shaken. 3 ships had vanished near Earth. No war had been declared. No weapons had been seen. But Earth's silence had become deadly. Inside the council's war chamber, Commander Virex stared at a large screen showing Earth's solar system. "They are hiding something," he said quietly. "And we will find it." "We already sent scouts," Counselor Ixon replied. "They didn't come back." "This time," Virex said, "we send someone who understands fear." Captain Vern was no ordinary spy. He worked in shadows far from rules. He had broken leaders, stolen secrets, and escaped impossible places. Now he had a new mission: land on Earth and discover the truth. He studied Earth's files, old wars, strange inventions, missing history. "They look weak," he said. His assistant, a blue-skinned alien named Relic, frowned. "That's what the others thought. And now they're gone." Vern didn't smile. "That's why I won't be caught." He took a small, black ship with full stealth systems, no sound, no light, invisible to sensors. He landed deep in the snowy mountains of North America, alone. At first, everything looked normal: trees, cold wind. No cities, no soldiers, but then he saw it. A small bird flew past him, then froze in mid-air. Its wings stopped. It fell like a rock. "What?" Vern whispered. His ship beeped. Systems were failing, even time sensors. Nothing worked. Then, a voice behind him. "You shouldn't have come." He turned quickly. A human man stood there. He wore no armor, just a black coat. His eyes were strange, glowing faintly. "Who are you?" Vern asked. "Call me Cade," the man replied. "You're lucky. You'll be the first to leave alive." "I don't understand. What are you hiding here?" Cade looked toward the sky. "You came looking for strength. I'll show you. But only once." Underground, miles below the snow, Cade led Vern through a tunnel of metal and light. Machines lined the walls. Some floated. Some HUMMED. At the end of the tunnel, a door opened. And Vern stopped walking. In the center of the room was something he had never seen before. It looked like a machine, but it was alive, a giant black sphere pulsing like a heart. It gave off no light, yet it was glowing. Around it, the air twisted, as if space itself was bending. "What is that?" Vern asked, stepping back. Cade answered, "We call it Erebus. It was built by humans, but not the ones you know." Vern shook his head. "This is impossible." "Your technology shouldn't be this advanced," Cade smiled. "That's the mistake the Council made. They thought we stopped evolving. But we just went quiet." Vern looked around. This isn't Council tech. It's something else." "It's older," Cade said. "Deeper. It doesn't shoot missiles or fire lasers. It kills ideas. It erases data. It bends thought. Erebus doesn't destroy ships. It deletes their purpose." Vern felt cold. "You use this to remove our scout ships?" he asked. "Yes," Cade replied. "Erebus let them see, and then took away their will to fight. That's why they vanished. Some are still alive, walking in circles, talking to the stars." Vern turned, panicked. "I need to leave." "You can," Cade said calmly, "but you must carry the message." "What message?" "Tell the Council," Cade said, walking closer, "that Earth did not forget. We remembered everything. The lies, the punishments, the control. We built Erebus to end that." Vern asked, "Why show me this? Why let me live?" "Because fear spreads faster than war," Cade said. Vern ran back at the Council capital. Alarms blared as Vern's ship returned. He made it back alive. The chamber filled with leaders. Vern was shaking as he entered. He fell to his knees. "They're not weak," he said, eyes wide. "They've been building something. A weapon beyond understanding. It's alive. It sees you before you see it. It thinks for itself." "What kind of weapon?" Ixon asked. "It doesn't destroy your body," Vern whispered. "It breaks your mind." The room went silent. Then a small screen blinked on. A message had arrived from Earth. It had only one word: watching. And then every light in the council chamber went out. The council had waited long enough. Commander Virek stood at the front of the war chamber, eyes locked on the stars displayed before him. "We gave Earth a chance," he said coldly. "They refused. Now we show them what fear truly is." Across the galaxy, the council gathered its largest fleet in 100 years. Over 70 warships, fighters, carriers, siege weapons. Each ship carried weapons powerful enough to destroy planets. "Let Earth see the sky fall," Virex whispered. The order was given. The fleet moved. It took only a few hours for them to reach the edge of Earth's solar system. Everything looked quiet. "Scanners show nothing," one pilot reported. "No ships, no satellites, no signals." Counselor Ixon laughed. "They've run, like insects before the flame." Virex wasn't smiling. "They're too quiet. Keep scanning. Something is wrong." But no one listened. The fleet entered Earth's orbit. Still, no response, no resistance. Just empty space and a blue, peaceful planet below. Then a strange message appeared on every ship screen, in perfect translation. In every known language: "You arrived too late. We were already here." "What does that mean?" Ixon asked, confused. A sudden beep, then another. Then hundreds. Ships were locking onto targets, but not from Earth. From behind them, one by one, dark shapes appeared in space. Long, silent ships, no engine trails, no sound, no flashing lights. Just shadows. Hundreds of them. They were cloaked. Someone shouted. Before the council fleet could react, Earth's ships opened fire. But it wasn't normal fire. Beams of pure silence. Weapons that didn't explode struck the council ships. Shields collapsed. Controls froze. Pilots screamed. And then nothing. Ship after ship shut down. Not destroyed. Not damaged. Like statues floating in space. Commander Virex stared at the chaos. "This can't be happening. Fire back. Use manual targeting." "We can't," a voice shouted. "Our systems are frozen. Even backup weapons aren't responding." Virex turned to the screen. A single Earthship moved closer. Its design was terrifying. No curves, just sharp edges and black armor. Like it had been built by something that hated life. A message played, a human voice. "Calm, cold. You thought Earth was still the same. That we feared you, that we forgot. But we learned, we grew. And now we erase." Virex slammed his fist on the console. "Send a distress call." "No signal," the officer replied. "They've cut us off from the entire network." Ixon's face went pale. "This is a trap made years ago." A massive blast rocked the fleet. 3 more council ships fell. No escape pods. No cries, just silence. Earth's ships didn't chase. They didn't brag. They simply erased everything that moved. On Earth, deep underground, Cade stood before a large screen showing the battle in space. A younger officer beside him asked, "Should we finish them?" Cade didn't answer immediately. "They came here expecting surrender," he said. "They expected fear." "And we gave them silence," the officer said. Cade nodded. "Now let them carry it home." He turned to a console. With a wave of his hand, a signal was sent. In space, Earth's ships stopped firing. They backed away, slowly, silently. Half the council fleet was gone. The rest drifted, powerless. And then Earth's message played one more time, this time across the entire galaxy. Earth remembers. Earth watches. Next time, we won't stop. 3 days later, in the council chamber, panic filled the air. How did they build those ships? Someone asked. Why didn't we see them before? Why did they spare us? No one had answers, Commander. Varek stood, shaking with anger. This was only their warning shot, he said. Their first strike. They could have destroyed all of us. And they didn't. Ixon sat quietly. His pride was gone. They don't want war, he whispered. They want us to know what they're capable of. That they're stronger now. Smarter. They want us to fear silence. Varex looked around the room. We underestimated Earth, he said. And we won't survive the next mistake. The council was no longer laughing. After Earth's unexpected first strike, more than half of their fleet was gone. No alarms, no grand explosions, only quiet defeat. In the center of the council's command tower, the room was filled with whispering voices. Fear had replaced arrogance. They didn't destroy us, one general said. They let us live. To send a message, replied another. But not everyone believed what they had seen. They used tricks, cloaking devices. Glitches, said Counselor Harrix, shaking his head. No ship can disable our fleet without firing a single real weapon. It's impossible. Commander Varex didn't speak. He stared at the black screen showing Earth's orbit, still guarded by silent ships, still offering no peace, no war. Just watching. I want answers, Varex said finally. Send someone to Earth. Someone who doesn't just follow rules. Someone who listens. Kira Talon was not a soldier. She was a whisper reader. A rare kind of spy trained to hear meaning in silence. She didn't need lasers or codes. She listened to patterns, watched faces, felt movements. She had survived on 12 different worlds, uncovered 3 silent rebellions, and once cracked a secret without speaking a word. You want me to go into Earth's shadow? She asked. Virex nodded. Yes, alone. Find out what they're hiding. If this Erebus is real, I want to know where it is. And how to kill it. Kira smiled slightly. I'll go. But if you hear nothing from me in 3 days. Don't wait. Kira's small ship entered Earth's orbit quietly, hidden under layers of static shielding. There was no welcome, no warning. Earth didn't even try to stop her. She landed near an old forest, far from cities, where snow covered dead trees and shadows danced between them. She stepped out and listened. No wind. No birds, not even distant machines. Just silence. Until she heard it. A soft voice. Not loud, not even close. A whisper, somewhere deep in the trees. Kira. She turned fast. No one there. Her scanner blinked red. Reading unknown signal, it said. Origin, everywhere. She moved deeper into the woods. More whispers. They see you. You came too late. They built it from memory. Kira breathed slowly, trying to stay calm. The voices were not coming from one place. They were all around her. Not loud, not strong. Just there. Always. She reached a clearing. In the center stood a tower made of black stone. It wasn't tall, but it felt heavy, ancient. There were no doors or windows, just a single round hole in the ground beside. The whispers grew louder. Kira knelt by the hole and looked down. Total darkness. She dropped a light stick. It fell for a second, then vanished. No sound. No flash. Nothing. Something inside the hole had swallowed the light. Erebus, she whispered. It's here. A voice replied, not from outside, but from inside her head. No, Erebus is everywhere. Kira stepped back quickly. A figure rose from the shadows behind the tower. It was human. A man in a long black coat. His skin was pale, and his eyes pitch black. I'm not here to fight, Kira said. The man tilted his head. You came to listen. She nodded. Then listen closely, he said. This place is only a gate. What Earth built is not a weapon, it is an idea. You tried to erase us long ago. You took our history, our freedom. You told the stars we were simple, angry creatures. But we remembered. Kira's hands were shaking. What is Erebus really? The man didn't blink. It's memory made alive. Pain made code. Thought made steel. Erebus is what your council tried to forget. Suddenly, Kira's ship sent an emergency alert to her wrist. Her voice froze. She opened the message. Incoming transmission intercepted. Do not trust the council. Earth is not your enemy. Another voice entered her mind, not a whisper now, but strong and clear. It was Erebus. You've heard our silence. Now hear the truth. Kira fell to her knees. Images flashed through her mind, council experiments, secret labs, Earth children taken, tortured in silence. Earth had once been a test world. The council erased the files, but Earth had saved the memories, and Erebus was born from that pain. She gasped, blinking away tears. It's not revenge, the man nodded. No, it's balance. Kira returned to her ship. The whispers followed her but faded as she flew higher. Back in space, her ship drifted silently. Her mind was still heavy. She opened a secure line. To Commander Verex. I've seen it, she said. Erebus is real. Where is it? Verex asked quickly. Kira stared at the stars. Everywhere, she said. And nowhere. It lives in the dark, in the air, in thoughts. You can't bomb it. You can't shut it down. It already knows your next move, Verex frowned. Then we must strike harder. No, Kira replied. Listen to me. They don't want war. They want truth. They want us to admit what we did. Silence on the other end. You sound like them now, Verex said coldly. The signal cut off. Kira knew she would not be allowed to return home. The council feared truth more than enemies. She sat back in her pilot's seat, opened a channel to all nearby systems, and said calmly, This is Kira Talon. Earth is not silent. It speaks through memory. It speaks through Erebus. And the council has lied to you. And for the first time, across the stars, others began to listen. Whispers filled the halls of the Galactic Council like smoke no one could clean. Days had passed since Kira Talon's message spread across nearby systems. The council tried to block it, tried to say it was false, but it was too late. More planets were listening. Some believed her words. Others were afraid to speak. But no one could ignore when it happened. Earth had beaten the strongest. Fleet in silence. And now the truth was leaking like a crack in glass. In the main council chamber, Commander Verex stood before the full council of leaders. His face was calm, but his eyes showed pressure. We must stay united, he said. Earth is trying to divide us. They've planted lies through that woman Kira. We all heard her message. We cannot allow her voice to shake us. One counselor, a bird-like alien named Tarka, spoke up. She said Earth remembers the council's crimes, that we experimented on them. Used them like test animals. Verex slammed his hand on the table. Lies, but another voice, quiet and careful, added, Are they really lies? All eyes turned toward Counselor Nyril. She was from a smaller planet and have never spoken boldly before. My grandfather was part of the original science teams, she continued. He told me stories of dark things, tests, memory erasure. Earth wasn't always a free world. The room went still. Counselor Ixon stood quickly. Old history doesn't matter now. Earth broke the rules. They're a threat. We must act, not feel. Tarka whispered, What if we're the threat? Verex looked around, feeling the council splintering. He tried to stay firm. Enough. We will not let Earth control this chamber with guilt and ghosts. But behind him, the cracks were already spreading. On a quiet station near the edge of council space, something strange happened. A security officer named Brell received a strange transmission. It was only 4 words. They're right. Wake up. He ignored it at first. Then another came, and another. Different voices, different planets. He looked at his commander. "Sir, we're getting multiple coded messages from inside Council systems." "Trace them," the commander said. "But Brel didn single quotes T. Instead." He opened the files. They weren't just warnings. They were proof, videos, images, logs, documents from decades ago, hidden projects, Earth experiments, secret orders signed by Council leaders. He watched one video again and again. A child, human, scared, alone in a white room. Council doctors asking questions. The child crying. Machines around her buzzing. He shut it off and sat in silence. Then he whispered, "We were the monsters." Word spread fast. On Council-controlled planets, some people began protesting. "Set Earth free," they shouted. "Truth before power." A few stations stopped responding to orders. A few officers refused to fire weapons. Varex saw it all from his control room. "They're falling apart," he growled. "This isn't fear, it's weakness." Counselor Ixon warned him, "If we press too hard, more will turn against us. The cracks are spreading." "Then we seal them," Varex said coldly. "Start arrests. Anyone sharing Earth's message is a traitor." On planet Zalen, a young guard named Ro was stationed outside the Council building. He had joined the military young, trained hard, followed orders. But something was different today. A man approached him, an old teacher Ro once admired. The man whispered, "Earth didn't lie. I've seen the files. We were wrong." Ro raised his weapon. "I don't want to hurt you," he said. "You already are," the man replied. "Every time you follow without asking why." Ro stood still for a long moment. Then he lowered his weapon. "I don't know what to believe anymore," he said. "Then start by listening," the man replied. In the Council chamber, a red alert suddenly flashed. Someone had attacked a high-ranking Council member. A guard. One of their own. The guard didn't run. He let himself be arrested. When they asked him why, he said only 3 words. "For the children." Commander Varex sat alone that night. The stars outside seemed darker than usual. He poured himself a drink with shaking hands. "They're breaking us from the inside," he muttered. Counselor Neril entered quietly. "No, Commander. We broke ourselves. Earth just held up a mirror." He stared at her. "What would you have us do? Bow to them?" She didn't blink. "No, but maybe finally tell the truth." Varex laughed bitterly. "Truth never wins wars." She looked him in the eyes. "Then maybe this isn't a war." Across the galaxy, systems began disconnecting from the Council's control grid. First 2, then 10, then 40. Small planets. Quiet ones, but they stopped answering, stopped obeying. They didn't send warships. They didn't fire missiles. They just went silent. And suddenly, the silence felt very familiar. Commander Varex stood before the Council one last time. His voice was hollow now. "The cracks are too deep," he said. "The galaxy is slipping away. Earth didn't just beat US with ships. They broke our story." No one argued, because deep down, they all knew it was true. The great Council building, once a place of power and order, now felt like a cage of fear. Systems were falling. Planets were disconnecting. Protests had broken out on dozens of worlds. The truth about Earth had spread like wildfire. And the fire was now at the Council's door. Commander Varex had not slept in days. "Status?" he asked, his voice low. "Another 7 outer systems have gone silent," replied the assistant. "We have lost control of over half the communication grid." Varex looked up. "What about Earth?" The officer swallowed nervously. Still watching, still quiet. The silence was no longer a mystery. It was a warning. Then a new signal arrived from Earth. Direct transmission. The entire Council fell silent as the screen blinked to life. A human figure appeared, not in armor, not in war paint. Just a tall man in a black coat, standing calmly inside a dark room. His voice was smooth, calm, but filled with weight. I am Elias Cade. I speak for Earth. No one dared interrupt. For years, you thought Earth was broken, a silent world beneath your rules. You took our past. You erased our pain. You thought silence meant weakness. He stepped closer to the screen. You were wrong. Gasps echoed around the chamber. Counselor Ixon stood to speak, but Commander Virex held up a hand. Let him finish. Cade continued, we do not want war, but we will not return to chains. We have shown you our strength. Now we give you a choice. The phone. Screen changed. A countdown appeared. 7 days. Beneath it, one sentence. Surrender power or lose it forever. Cade's voice returned. You have 7 Earth days to step down, disband the Council. Hand leadership to a new free alliance, one where no species rules over another. If you refuse, we will shut down your stars. Counselor Ixon exploded. In anger, threats, you threaten the galaxy with darkness? Cade didn't blink. We offer light, but only if you let go of the shadows. The screen turned black. Silence again. But this time, the silence felt heavier than any weapon. The council chamber erupted. He can't mean it. They don't have the power. They're bluffing. Commander Virex said nothing. Finally, he stood. Prepare the fleet. Gasps echoed again. Ixon smiled. Yes, attack now. Burn their world before the deadline. But Virex turned to him. No, he said. We don't attack Earth. Ixon's smile dropped. What? We attack the traitors, Virex continued. The systems that broke away. The ones who believe. Earth's lies. But I said prepare the fleet. Far away, in a deep base under Antarctica, Elias Cade watched council movements from a glowing table. Around him stood leaders from different nations, not just humans, but former council species who had joined Earth's cause. They're planning something, said a lizard-like alien named Revan. We see fleet signals moving. Not toward Earth, but toward the outer colonies. Cade nodded. They're trying to scare the rest back into line. What do we do? Asked another. We make sure it doesn't work. Cade said. He pressed a button. A hologram of Erebus flickered to life. It didn't speak. It didn't move. But its silent glow filled the room with power. Cade looked at the others. Release Erebus to the outer rim. Let them know Earth isn't the only one watching anymore. The Council sent its fleets to 3 breakaway systems, but when they arrived, nothing responded. Ships didn't fire. Stations didn't move. Then one by one, the Council ships began to fail, engines powered down. Communications stopped. Weapons turned off. Some crew members began to panic. Others just stared out into the void. In one ship, an officer began to cry for no reason. Another started talking to someone who wasn't there. By the time the Council realized it, Erebus had already won. Not by fighting. By showing them their worst selves. Back in the Council chamber, panic had turned to desperation. Virex slammed his hand on the table. Where are our fleets? Gone dark, sir. No signal. They're taking us apart without lifting a hand. Counselor Nero stood. Maybe. It's time we listen. Ixon growled. You want to surrender? I want peace, she said. Not silence. Real peace. More council members nodded. The vote was close. Too close, but Virex still refused. I won't kneel to humans. Then, a soft voice spoke from behind him. You already have. He turned. One of his personal guards was holding a small device. A hologram activated, showing proof of hidden council orders. The ones that erased Earth's history. The ones that started it all. The guards stared him down. For Earth, he said. And for the first time in his life, Virex stepped back. 1 day before the deadline, the council surrendered. Not with fireworks. Not with speeches. They simply stopped. The old flags were lowered. A new broadcast went out across the stars. A woman, not human, not council, spoke. The galaxy belongs to no empire now. Earth reminded us of what power becomes when left unchecked. Let us build something better. Back on Earth, Kadid stood in silence as the message played. One officer asked, "What now?" Cade smiled. "Now we heal." The once proud Galactic Council was crumbling. What had been a place of power and control now felt like a tomb, quiet, dark and full of fear. Commander Varex sat alone in his chambers, staring at the cold stars outside. His empire was breaking. His soldiers were disappearing. His allies were turning away. A soft knock came at the door. "Enter," Varex said. A young officer stepped in, trembling. "Sir, another system has left the council." "They joined the new alliance." Varex clenched his fists. "How many now?" "Over half the systems," the officer said. "And growing." Varex leaned back. "Then we lost before the fight." In the council's main hall, Councillor Ixon paced nervously. "We must strike. Show them our strength one last time." Councillor Nero shook her head. "Strike? That will only destroy what little trust remains. We need peace. We need talks." Ixon's eyes burned. "Talks are weakness. Weakness is death." Suddenly, alarms blared. "Security breach," a guard shouted. "Someone is inside the council's central data core." Varex and the others rushed to the control room. The screen showed a lone figure moving fast, a human woman dressed in black, silent and deadly. "She's Kara Talon," Nyril whispered. "She's come back," Varex growled. "Capture her." But Kira moved like a shadow. Guards fell before they could react. Systems shut down under her touch. She was not just a spy. She was a message. Kira reached the central console and placed a small device. "This ends tonight," she said calmly. The device hummed and released a wave that swept through the council systems. Suddenly, every secret file opened. Hidden truths spilled across the screens. Lies, betrayals, experiments, cover-ups. The council members watched in horror as their darkest secrets were exposed to the galaxy. Ixon screamed, "This is sabotage." Varex's face was pale. "How did she?" Before anyone could move, the doors locked. "Council, you are under arrest," Kira said through the speakers. Her voice echoed through the halls. "You ruled by fear. You broke worlds. You silenced voices. Now you will answer." Outside the council, ships from the new alliance arrived. Their flags flew proudly, symbols of unity, not control. Leaders from many worlds came forward. A representative spoke too. "The captured council members, the galaxy will no longer be ruled by lies and fear. We will build a new future, one of respect and freedom." Councillor Nero, once quiet and small, stood tall. "Let this be the last fall of the old ways." In a quiet room deep inside the council building, Varex sat alone. His empire was gone, his power stripped. He whispered to himself, "They feared silence, but silence was our strength." Outside, the galaxy moved on. Stars shone brighter, and the future was no longer written by the few. The stars were quiet. The war was over. The great galactic council was no more. In its place, a new alliance was forming, one built not on fear, but on trust. Elias Cade stood before a large crowd in the new council hall on Earth. Leaders from many worlds gathered, their faces full of hope and worry. He looked out at them and spoke. "The old ways failed us all. Power taken by a few only brings silence and pain. Today we start fresh." A soft murmur ran through the crowd. "We must learn from our past," Cade continued. "Not to punish, but to understand. Not to control, but to protect." A small voice rose from the audience. "What if some still want to fight?" Cade smiled gently. "We will meet them not with weapons, but with truth. We do not forget what happened, but we do forgive." Suddenly, an alarm blared. The crowd froze. An unknown fleet approaches, a guard said. They are armed. Everyone looked toward the windows. Dark ships moved through space, fast and silent. Ixon, once a powerful counselor, stepped forward, hands raised. Let me speak with them, he said quietly. Cade nodded. Ixon sent a signal. The Conde ships slowed. Then, a single message came. We do not agree with your new order. We want the old council back. The crowd TENC turned to Cade. What do we do? Cade answered, we do what we should have done all along. We listen. Ixon sent a new message. Come to talk. No weapons. Hours passed. Then, the dark ships entered orbit. Small boats descended to the planet. From them came representatives. Cautious but curious, Cade met them outside the hall. We offer peace, he said. A chance to join us or walk away. One leader from the dark ships looked at him. We will watch, but this is a test. Cade smiled. So it is. Weeks passed. The new alliance faced challenges. Old enemies lurked, and fear whispered in hidden corners. But they met each test with honesty. They shared their stories. They built new laws to protect, not punish. Kira Talon worked with former enemies, turning spies into allies. Erebus, once a weapon of fear, was now a guardian and observer that kept peace without violence. One night, Cade stood alone on a quiet hill looking at the stars. A voice came from behind. You changed everything, said Neril, the wise counselor. Cade nodded. Because we chose to listen, she smiled. The galaxy will remember today. And so will we. Cade said softly. Above, the stars shone brighter than ever.